You disrespecting me? That's it! The gloves are coming off.
I can see that. What was your plan for this, Peppermint?
I don't know. Fight?
You're paying me double for this.
But I'm not paying you anything.
Hey!
All right, well, let's do another podcast review kind of thing. Like I said before, I'm kind of just winging these now because I just don't have the time, energy, or patience to really just edit it up and all that fun stuff. So just gonna kind of wing it. I'm not really good at this, but I also just don't care. Anyways, so I'm gonna review Hi-Fi Rush today. So let's just dive straight into it. Nah, I don't want to dive into it yet. Oh, also today is Wednesday, June 26th, 2024. Just because I gotta mention this over and over again, because what if something changes, from today, and then when I post it or whenever someone decides to sit down and listen to my drivel, a lot can change. So this is just based off the game. I literally just finished it like half an hour ago. So take it for what you will, because I just recently did a review for Helldivers, and a lot has changed since I did that review. So I just want to make sure you kind of know that, like, today is Wednesday, June 26th, 2024. So whatever happens after this is not my issue. Well, it was never my issue. What am I doing? I'm just rambling now. What did I do today? I went to Downtown Disney. It was pretty badass. I haven't been to Disneyland in about a year now, which is kind of crazy. But I've been in Downtown Disney a lot, and it's just wild to me that it gets so much traffic, because it's really just nothing but it's just a shopping mall. And it's just crazy to me that, like, that just people just go there just to hang out. It's just weird to me, like, it's just something about the aura of Disney that just kind of brings people there. Because, like, if you kind of look at it, it's not really anything special. There are like so many better malls and like shopping centers and stuff like that in this area, in like the Orange County, Los Angeles area. And it's just crazy that, like, it's always packed there. I know it's people coming in and out of, like, the park, but it's just nuts to me that there are also people that just go there just to hang out, when there are places they just have more variety, Because I kind of noticed today that, like, we went to go try this place with Hyro called the Duke of Sandwiches or something. I've never had it. I know it's been there for a hot minute. Never had it, and I was just kind of realizing to myself, like, once you kind of fill yourself up, there's not much else to really do, except unless you want to go buy something Disney related. There's not really, like, there's a Lego store, there's a sunglass store, but, like, once you're kind of full, you're like, all right, well, now what? Like, what if you don't want to spend more money, or, like, you're just not into Disney? I don't know. It's crazy to me that, like, it's so weird. Like, you have to be a Disney fan to really spend your time there. Because, like, once I got full, I'm like, okay, well, like, 75% of these places are now no longer interesting to me. I don't know. Just a thought I had in my head today. All right, let's go. Let's get into it. Hi-Fi Rush is, I'm going to read this off the Wikipedia real quick, just a little bit of background on the game. Hi-Fi Rush is a 2023 rhythm-based action game. It's developed by Tango Gameworks, and it's published by Bethesda. So it's basically just about this dude named Chai, who basically accidentally gets, like, it's an MP3, but it just looks like an iPod kind of thing. So he goes in to want to become a rock star, I guess. He goes into the cybernetic company. Like, they deal with robots and, like, robotic limbs and AI and all this cool shit. He goes in there, and something bad really happens, and he basically, and you know how in Iron Man he has that weird little, like, fusion core in his chest? Same deal here, except it's a MP3 player. So, um, that kind of sets like the tempo of the game kind of thing, where like everything goes to the rhythm of whatever song Chai is listening to. Um, and as we go through the game, we kind of realize, oh, this giant company is actually developing like this mind control program, and they want to infect the entire world so they can buy more and more of their products. So that's basically the game, and like basically the entire game is basically just this action beat 'em up kind of thing where you just defeat all the bosses of this company so you can kind of destroy their AI mind control device kind of thing. Um, I know I said rhythm based action game, and that's kind of like the heart of this game. And I think it's one of the cooler aspects of this game where you're listening to a song and like how you fight, you have to fight according to your beat, right? Like you can't just like mash a bunch of buttons. You have to be like beat, 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 beat. You have to follow the beat, and the more you follow the beat, the more effective your attacks are. Sometimes there are sequences where you have to follow the beat, and I found it an extremely difficult thing for me because it's actually like a pretty good joke between me and Hyro that where like I can't keep a beat for longer than 5 seconds. So actually, this game was extremely challenging for me. But even with that, um, I really found myself having a great time with this game. Um, the combat was super cool, and even though I was getting my ass beat because I was in, oh my god, I'm gonna burp. Oh, that was a weak burp. Um, because you have to like parry right according to the beat. It's not just what you see; it's you have to feel the beat kind of thing. And I found myself kind of eating shit a lot because of that, or not being able to dodge correctly, or there's just also a lot going on where sometimes I would just press the wrong button and it's not what I wanted to do. Like I think on the PlayStation 5, which is where I played this, R1 is to dash, which you can use to dodge, and then L1 is to grapple yourself onto an enemy and pull yourself towards him. So I would sometimes, this is just a small example, sometimes I would press the wrong shoulder button, so instead of like dodging out of the way, I basically ran into damage. And there's also like little abilities where you can call in friends and they kind of do stuff for you, or you have these special abilities where you have to press the button at this perfect moment for it to be an effective attack. There's just all sorts of little things that like it really just, when I say rhythm based, it really is rhythm based. But what I really liked about this game is that, well, there's a bunch of stuff that I really like about the game, and I'll get into specifics, but I know that everything I said might be a little scary for people who really don't have a rhythm, like me. But it's actually super easy and accessible, like to just kind of still mash your way through. If you can keep a beat and you can like follow the rules of the game, it makes it way more fun. You'll notice that like I only recorded gameplay for like the first half of the game, so you'll see that I'm kind of shit at it. But more towards the end is when I finally started to get it. Like I think like the very last level when I beat the final boss, I got like A's, A, like just down the line, which was pretty cool. As opposed to like at the very beginning where I was getting like straight up D's, in the ranking system. So just 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 know that like when I say rhythm based, it really is rhythm based, but it doesn't necessarily hold itself to that standard all the time. It is still possible to play the game without really having a rhythm. I find it very difficult to hold a rhythm. I still manage to get through it. So, but let's just get into the other reasons why I really love this game. It's actually one of my favorite games that I played this year so far. For one, just the look of the game, it just looks really good. The cutscenes are super cool. It's really well animated. Just everything about the visuals is super cool. And something I really noticed that I really liked is that at the very beginning of the game, they say, you know, you got to keep a rhythm to the song you're listening to that's playing. You can also press, well, for me on the PlayStation, the touchpad, you can kind of see the rhythm going at the bottom of your screen. But also, on top of that, the environment also moves to the rhythm, which I thought was such a cool addition because it really makes the world feel alive. It really makes you feel like you are Chai, like you really do have you're really seeing the world through music. It's something that I don't think I've ever seen before, where they really just went all in on the rhythm. So I thought that was super cool. Where you would just see like gears, you know, instead of moving like at a mechanical rhythm of like, you know, that was going to the beat. It was like, you know, it was cool. Like you were going, it was going to the rhythm, and you can watch this world, and there's so many different levels and worlds that you go to. It's all one world. It's this giant campus of this company, but all these different like sections of that campus, you know, like the university or like a museum or the underground like lava pit, like all these different like just there's so much color and there's so much going on. And just for the first time in a long time, the world really just does feel alive, and it is literally the world. It's not just people. It's like the world itself is moving to the beat that you are also fighting to. Um, Besides that, let's see what else. Visuals is cool. Audio, super badass. A lot of the music was really good. I think that the music was mostly, there are some licensed songs in there. Like just recently when I finished the game, there was a Nine Inch Nails song, which is pretty cool. But I think for the most part, a lot of the music is by Tango, so like a composer. I think it's actually the same guy who did the Evil Within 2 soundtrack. So I think his name is, let me see right here, Masatoshi Yanagi. I kind of recognize that name because I used to listen to the soundtrack for the Evil Within 2 sometimes, and I recognize that name. So when I saw it popping up in the game, I was like, oh shit, that's the same guy. Music's really good, which is super important to a rhythm based game, right? Like what good is playing a game that's all about rhythm when you don't care about the music? The music was super good. The voice acting was fantastic. The voice actors, I played this in English. The voice actors were just, they all worked well and synced. Which leads me to my next point. The voice actors worked really well together, which leads me to my next point of the writing was just really good. There was so many funny moments in this game and the cutscenes, and it really made me look forward to the next cutscene because it was funny. Because these characters are all just like these weirdos that are really just interacting with each other. It's like this group of like misfits, and Chai being this lovable idiot, you know, and what was her name? I think it's Peppermint, who's like this, like, no, we're trying to do the right thing here, and you're an idiot, but we're stuck together. Let's do this. And then you know you also have the big guy. What's his name? Macaron. Macaron, who's like this big giant like dude who's like he's such a pacifist. He doesn't want to hurt anyone. But there he is, like basically busting down like the big dudes in the shields for you. You have you just have all these characters just like they're all sort of weirdos, and they all work well together, and the writing just is like top notch, and the voice acting just really pushes it over the edge of just really kicking ass altogether. What else? Let's see. The gameplay I went through, super fun. Visuals, it looks fucking badass. The audio, super good. The writing is great. What else can I even talk about this game? Really, it's just a lot of just. It's good. It's like it's just so weird that like all these ingredients put together just make for a really fun game. The design of some of these. No, I take that back. The design of everything is just awesome. There are moments where like I forgot to start using the screenshot thing because I usually like to take like cool screenshots and then I'll post them on my Threads account just so I can look back at them later. And there was just a bunch of moments where I forgot to do that, but towards the end I started doing it again. And I was like, whoa, there's just so many cool like art pieces in this game. Like it just looks cool. The design of like the enemies, the design of like the bosses. I think there's this boss fight where he turns into like this giant wolf or something. I was like, that might be one of the coolest boss designs I've probably ever seen. It was just badass. I was just like, whoa, that's cool. But like I said, the game is mostly beat 'em up. You're kind of just going level to level, just hitting people and beating them up, and just kind of in these little arenas, and you just kind of go from there. There's a lot of little mini games in between to kind of break up that monotony, which is nice as well. A lot of something else that I thought was really cool was the humor is top notch, but I also like the idea that you can talk to these people, these side characters, these side robots that are just there working, or you read these internal emails and memos, and it's just funny because it's just like there's so much humor in there that like they're not even. It's almost like they're not even trying to be funny, and no, they are trying to be funny. It's not that they're not trying to be funny. It's just there's just so much humor all over the game, and it makes the game just really feel like a video game. And I think I've forgotten all about that because I played Spider-Man 2, I played The Last of Us, Alan Wake, Baldur's Gate. Like these stories that get really just like deep, and sometimes they go dark, and they're very dramatic, and that's not to say it's a bad thing, but like I guess maybe in all that I kind of forgot what sometimes a video game should be like as well. Like I saw the other side of the coin where a game is just fun, it's lighthearted, it's just you're just mashing a button kind of thing. And Hi-Fi Rush is definitely probably the perfect antithesis to those games I just listed. It's just all in all, it's just a really great game, and it kind of makes me sad that Tango Gameworks no longer exists because Microsoft shut them down for a plethora of reasons that you can look up online. But what else could I really talk about this game? Let me see. I can go down to some of the reviews here. Let's see on Wikipedia. Hi-Fi Rush received generally favorable reviews on Xbox and PlayStation 5, critical acclaim on PC. Yeah, I mean, I'm basically just sucking its dick here right now. Happy Pride, by the way, to all my fellow non-straights. Enjoy it, because Straight Guy July is coming, and it's back to all that nonsense. Let's see. Jordan Midler from Video Games Chronicle said that Hi-Fi Rush is oozing with style and confidence, and there are repetitive level design and some clunky platforming. Yeah. Well, I mentioned already the style. It just visually so appealing. It's a beautiful game to look at. Yeah, some of the level design could get repetitive, and the platforming was a little like lame. I noticed that there was a lot of times where I couldn't really figure out Chai's double jump or his dash ability, because like there'd be times where like it looks like a platform is right next to you, so when you only do like the double jump or whatever, you still might overshoot it. Or then you're like, oh, that seems kind of far, and then you do your double jump and dash, and then you still overshoot it or you undershoot it because you're just like, whoa, what the hell? So I can totally see where that's coming from. Let's see, what else are other people saying? Jesse Norris from Xbox Era, blah blah blah. The combat can become difficult to read as the screen fills up with utter chaos. So that's mostly what I was trying to refer to at the beginning, where there is just a lot going on that it is hard to keep the rhythm. And if you can keep the rhythm, that's badass. But for someone like me who's just unable to keep the rhythm, and you have all this stuff going on like parrying, dashing, dodging, grappling, using your side buddies to like do the stuff. Like, cause like for example, you have an enemy who has a shield. You pull out Peppermint, who will shoot the laser out. You can't destroy the laser. Only her lasers can. Or people with a specific type of shield, you can only use the big guy. What was his name? I already forgot. Macaron. You can only use him to destroy those shields, to bash them away. So like you have to bring them in. It's not like you have a choice. So when you add all that together, it does become a clusterfuck of just a bunch of random stuff on the screen, and it becomes super like it. If I already get really overwhelmed by the fact that I can't really keep a beat, and then you have to add on top of all that, like, oh man, I have to keep the beat, but I also have to dodge this, and I'm getting hurt, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, and this, and that, and this, and that, and this, and that. It becomes really overwhelming. So I can totally see where that guy's coming from. But I don't know. Like, there's not a lot of negative in this game, but it does kind of suck that the fact that sometimes it does get a little overwhelming. I noticed that towards the end they just started throwing waves and waves of enemies at you. It does kind of suck because that is a major part of the game, so you can't really just go, it's fine. It's a big deal. But I did also a pro to that is that even towards the end, they were still introducing new enemies. So that was nice that they weren't just like at the very beginning, like, here's all your enemies and we give up. We're just going to keep throwing the same ones over and over again at you. No, they actually kind of changed it up. And some of the level designs actually kind of made you change up your play style. I remember there was a level towards the middle where you're fighting on these giant platforms that get electrified. So you kind of have to move. You can't just stay in one place. You have to kind of move from platform to platform or you get shocked, right? So I think that's pretty neat. But I think, what's this guy's name? Jesse Norris from Xbox Era. I think he basically pretty much summed up my issues with this game. I think it gets a little clunky on the screen. And it becomes difficult to kind of just figure out what's going on. Especially when you have these boss fights. I remember I had to turn down the difficulty. I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm a busy guy, all right? I don't have time to really just kind of sit there and really just take my time and like really just like analyze it. No, listen, if you're going to be too hard for me, I'm just going to lower the difficulty. And I had to lower the difficulty at the very end just because there was so much going on with this boss fight. And I couldn't tell what I could parry, what I had to dodge. I couldn't tell what exactly his moves were. And I couldn't tell what I was supposed to use my buddies for. Like, there was just a lot going on. And I'm not a fan of that. So, yeah, and the game's not that long, which is actually kind of nice. I think I beat the game in like 7 hours, 6-7 hours maybe, I want to say. See, I recorded 2 hours, skipped the recording for another couple hours. So more or less, like at least under 10 hours. So it's not a long game, and the price is super cool. I got this game on sale. I got the special edition on sale. So, but I think full price is like $40, I want to say, which is nothing, which as a person who buys video games, I'm always going to be someone that advocates for the consumer, right? I'm going to be I'm one of you people. Well, I don't mean you people, but I'm one of the people. That's what I meant to say. Sorry, that almost came off as fucked up. I'm just one of those people that still has to buy their video games. I'm not fortunate enough to be like a lot of games journalists who don't have to worry about that. So having bought this game on sale and knowing that the full price is already not $60 or $70 now, it's definitely worth the money as well for a short experience. And considering it's basically on, I think, everything, right? Xbox, PlayStation, PC. I don't think it's on Switch, but I'm too lazy to look it up right now. But it's on everything. So I know Steam always has its sales. Hyro said he was playing on it through Game Pass, and I got it on sale on a PlayStation sale. So there's a lot of avenues for you to really get at it. So, all in all, I think I'm gonna give the game a 9 out of 10. I know that seems high for someone who didn't properly play the game right, but I think the game is just really well crafted. Yeah, the action is kind of like, I think the only reason I'm not giving it a perfect score is because, one, maybe I'm just not the person they designed the game for. I'm not really a beat 'em up kind of guy, more of an action adventure kind of guy. And two, that the combat really just does get a little clunky sometimes, and the screen just gets messy. But besides those two things, for the most part, the game's top notch. I found myself laughing a lot of the time when I got to the cutscenes or the two characters dialoguing, right? Like while you're in the middle of a fight. I really looked forward to coming home after work and just booting up my PlayStation and playing this game for a bit. Just all in all, it was badass. It was a good game, and if you are anywhere remotely interested in like seeing what this game is all about, I would definitely give it a go. And like I said, it's like on the 3 major platforms. I don't know if it's on Switch, but Switch has its sales too. But if it goes on sale, I would definitely take advantage of it. Why not? Give it a go. So, yeah, 9 out of 10. That's a super high score I'm giving it, but I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to it. Can't speak right now. I think I'm just tired. I'm trying to think of other things I could say about this game. Yeah, it just kind of sucks that like it clearly did super well and the studio got shut down anyways, which makes me sad because not to say that this game needs a sequel, but the fact that I'm still waiting for The Evil Within 3, even though it'll never happen. But it makes me sad that like the company or the studio that did The Evil Within 2, which is one of my most favorite horror games of all time. The Evil Within 2 was such a drastic improvement on the first one, right? But you're still kind of working within the same realm of a genre. You already have kind of the characters you kind of introduce. You're just kind of building on that. And then to go from The Evil Within 2 to a completely different game like Hi-Fi Rush, and it's still being really good. It just makes me really sad that we might not get more games like that from this very clearly talented group of people. Because Evil Within 2, badass. Hi-Fi Rush, badass. I mean, what? I was, after finishing this, I honestly thought, like, damn, I'm actually excited to play the next Tango Gameworks game. And then I realized, oh, wait, there is no more Tango. So, and they also did that Doctor Strange game, Ghostwire. Just all these different games that are like, Ghostwire, I'm not going to say it was super great, but I did remember, like, I had a decent time with it. So, I don't know, it's just Hi-Fi Rush is really just such a deviation from their horror genre kind of thing, and it kicked ass. So, anyways, Hi-Fi Rush for me is getting a 9 out of 10, and I definitely recommend it if you can get a chance to get your hands on it. It's also not a long game, and I know that it goes on sale plenty, and now that Tango kind of closed down, I wonder if it'll go on sale more, so here's hoping. As always, if you don't agree with me, I don't care. All right, I'm done.
You're not like the others, Corsica. You can feel something's wrong.
Chai, you are surprisingly convincing.
De-escalating. I think we may have a chance.
Or are you just too oblivious to figure that out?
Oh, come on!
That's it. Now I'm mad.